I was talking to my son the other day, and he said if I put a little more of my personality into the videos, I might get more viewers. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and today we're going to be talking about the short trek Ask Not. And this one features, once again, Captain Pike and cameos from Spock and Number One on the Enterprise. We knew that there were going to be a couple of short treks that would take place aboard the Enterprise under Captain Pike. There are going to be two or three more that will not deal with the Enterprise. At first, my thoughts were, well, there's been a lot of call for more Pike and Spock and Number One, and so these short treks are just a way of placating the people who wanted them. But there was something in this particular short trek that made me think that this is going to go to a full series. Now, I'm not going to spoil too much. I will give you the fact that there is some scenes on the Enterprise, obviously, and I will tell you that Pike gets away. But otherwise, I'm not going to tell you about that. As you've seen the preview, Pike is taken prisoner by a cadet. And in the preview, he threatens a cadet by saying that you'll never see the inside of a starship again. And we won't go any further than that. The episode itself is very suspenseful and very well executed. I like the way it ended. It was a believable thing altogether. But what caught my attention was in a scene where they show the engine room on the Enterprise. Now, all of the short treks that we have seen up to this time have generally leaned into something that was going to happen later. We know this. In most of the short treks from last year, there was something that linked into the next season of the series, with the exception of Harry Mudd and the future Discovery, where there's nobody on, no crew on the ship, and they still maintain that these are not necessarily anything that's going to connect to anything, but just little stories they can tell. But the thing that kind of clues me in on this is the scene of the Enterprise engine room. It was not just a green screen effect. It was not just a simple room with recycled warp core in it. They had a very detailed looking engine room. And the thought that crosses my mind is, why would you build a detailed engine room for one 15-minute episode and then throw it out? My guess is that they're building sets for a full Enterprise series, and it wouldn't be worth it even in a streaming service to have elaborate sets built, use them once, and then throw them out. They would have some way to either recycle them in some way or to use them exactly as they are. And so my guess is that we are going to see an Enterprise with Pike and Spock and Number One in the not too distant future. There's, of course, nothing in the publicity machine from CBS All Access. There is nothing that I've read anywhere that suggests this, but it just seems to me almost too glaring that they would show such a detailed engine room and not have ideas on using it later. So that's my thought on this short trek. I recommend you watch it if you can. It's a good story, and it is believable, it is plausible, and it's fun to watch. So I recommend it to you. Also, the trailers that follow that for two animated short treks look interesting too. One of them looks rather like anime, and another one could be another cartoon series that they have in mind. It could not. It could be very plausible that something like that would happen. Neither of them looked like the Lower Decks cartoon that's going to be presented sometime in the next year, but there is a couple of other styles there, so it looks like they're playing around with what they might want to do, and maybe one of them even foreshadows what they're going to be doing on Nickelodeon. So that is something that we can prognosticate about, I suppose. In the meantime, I want to know what you think about this. If you have an idea on what is going to happen with the Enterprise crew, if they're just going to be restricted to a couple of short treks and never be seen again, or if we're going to see another television series or perhaps even a movie based on it. It wouldn't be a bad idea. This is something that I'd like to hear your opinions on. So please go to the comments below and let me know what you think about it. In the meantime, if you have not subscribed or rung the bell, please do so. It does not cost you anything. It does not obligate you to anything, but it does help this channel, and it does help keep me wanting to do more videos. So I'm very encouraged by such things. So I encourage your participation in that, if you will. In the meantime, don't go far.